Disclaimer.
What was the most outrageous request you ever received sexually? Remember Chloe from Fight Club? The woman asking for one last fuck before she dies. A terminally ill colleague of mine asked me. Reluctant at first, I finally accepted. We took our time and had a good time together. Unexpectedly wholesome. Someone offered me $100 an hour to pee on someone at his dungeon. That sounds like a lot of pee time. If the average pee length is 21 seconds, that's 58 cents per pee. Not worth the time. This Redditor pisses. A dude asked me to peg him. Not really an outrageous request, I could be up for that. Thing was, we had just met, chatting at a grocery store about the weather or whatever. After I declined, he lamented never being able to find a woman who was interested. All I could think was if he basically opens every conversation with a woman with "You wanna peg me?" I'd be amazed if he finds someone who says yes. He's clearly in the wrong aisle. I once had a guy open a conversation on a dating app by asking if I would be up for his pretty intense kinks. I asked what kind of kinks he meant, and he listed off a handful of things that I didn't think of as particularly intense, fairly common things I think. Then he went on to talk about pegging. Now, this isn't something I'm particularly interested in personally, but I've always said I'm happy to give things a go. Pretty quickly after that, he asked if I wanted to join him and his friend in a threesome where I would peg him. My dude, maybe let's go for a coffee first? I had this guy I met randomly ask if he could see my dick. When I told him no, he pulled $100 out of his wallet and was like, "Please, I just want to see it, I won't touch it or anything." I was like 20 and weirded out by the dude, so got away ASAP. Now that I'm older, I probably would just flash my dick and take the money. Who cares? 5 or 10? It's 5 just to see it and 10 to watch me jack off. Dirk Diggler. Shit, I'm 19 and I would have taken that damn money. Saying no? In this economy? Got hit on by a private shuttle driver in Vegas. Things were getting very spicy in our discussion when she said she wanted to watch me blow her boyfriend. I was considering whether or not I was getting rolled or if I wanted to do it when she added, "with you in a diaper." And that's where the line was. This is the kind of quality post I come to our AskReddit for. I have a missing lower leg. A chick wanted to see if my stump would fit in her. My leg is amputated just below the knee. No. Edit, by the way, I asked her how. She said no, like she didn't expect my leg to be amputated that high. So yes. She was, indeed, stumped. Edit 2, and no to the request and no to if it fit or not. I didn't want to stick it in crazy, she was already a couple crayons short of a box and that's a danger zone for me, and no because, unless she can fit a freaking knee plus 4 inches of leg up there, it was a physical impossibly. The idea of being Voltron sounded fun though. Okay, you win. This is outrageous of her, lol. It might be, but I would be a liar if I said I wouldn't be curious as well were I a woman. This question really has you stumped, huh? She has sexual needs too. But then you could have said you leg fucked a girl up to your knee. Although I'm not sure who you would want to say that to. Knee deep in pussy is the correct terminology. If anyone knows the correct terminology, it would have to be you, Pussy Professor. Soon to be Dr. Pussy Professor when he gets his PhD. So not fisting but kneeing? My ex didn't want me to masturbate because she considered it cheating. By the way, she cheated. Maybe it's not cheating if it's with another person? I had an ex like this too who had problems with porn for the same reason. We compromised by making videos of her instead. She also cheated. Same, but a little weirder. Once we were doing hand stuff on each other, we were young horny teens, don't ask, she didn't finish me, I thought she wanted me to come on her, she was pretty into that and seemed like she enjoyed it. And days later, she was mad at me, because touching my own penis was pretty much cheating. And she cheated. LOL. Wasted 6 years of my life. My blind date. We talked for hours over the phone and then made plans to meet each other. She gave me her home address and gave me instructions what to do upon arrival. After ringing the doorbell, she would unlock the door. I was to wait 1 minute. She wanted me to then come inside her home and close and lock the front door. Then proceed to her bedroom. Then I was to remove all my clothes, get into her bed, and turn off the light. She would be waiting in the closet but watching through the blinds of the closet door. When she would join me in bed. After hearing all of this, I told her maybe it would better to meet at a restaurant or coffee shop first. She told me no, that she wanted me at her place tonight. So I declined her offer. If she is reading this, please don't take it personally. I'm glad you declined. I mean, I don't know you, but that's how people get murdered. My ex's brother had a thing for me, and I would tell my ex everything he would say to me, and then one night after all of us went rollerblading, he asked me, "Could you send a foot pic?" Bruh, I'm dating your brother. My ex was furious, and the brother was like, "Ugh, why she gotta tell you everything?" He would constantly flirt and try and get me to cheat, but you know what the funny part? The minute he got a girlfriend, he forbade my ex to ever meet her because he claims, "You'll try and do stuff with her." So in other words, it's okay for me to try and do stuff with your girlfriend, but you can't do it with mine. It's projecting. I would fuck your GF, so I imagine you'd fuck mine. She wanted to shave me from the neck down, dress me like a woman, take me out dancing with her and her friend, then they would take turns on me and each other with strap-ons. This was from a church kindergarten teacher who had previously stated reverse cowgirl was too kinky for her. Edit for my poor inbox. Yes, we did it. Yes, it was the most erotic thing I have ever done. Yes, I was sore as hell the next morning. Yes, it became a monthly-ish thing to cross-dress and go out. Getting pegged by one or both was weekly. Yes, we eventually brought home another guy from the club, and yes, I crossed that line too. For 3 years the sex was unbelievable, but everything else started dying. We were just headed in 2 different directions in life, and eventually we mutually decided to end it. That was 25 years ago. We text almost daily. Her live life with her husband is pretty generic, Sony's mind with my wife. I guess we both got it out of our systems. This makes the story too perfect for me to believe you, hahaha. Repression is a hell of a drug. Maybe she should meet the guy who opened every interaction with a desire to be pegged. How was it? When I was a stripper, I got offered $100 to kick a guy in the nuts. Naturally, I took the offer and kicked him. After he regained his strength, he bolted out the door past the bouncers. A few months after that, I start a new class in college, and guess who's my professor? Nut kick guy. Ah yes, the nutty professor. I matched with someone. He asked me if I have slim feet, which I do. I thought he's into feet or something. Turns out he wants me to put my whole feet into his ass. Edit. I also have someone who have a cuckold and degrading kink. And wants me to ask him to eat his own cum. He is not into feet. The feet are into him. My man was watching that 70s show, and every time Red says I'll put my foot up your ass, he's thinking. Yes, you could. Early on, my ex one night demanded that we do it in a field across from the farmhouse she lived/worked at. The dude who owned it was a creepy asshole, and she thought it was a pretty strong power move, lol. There might have been something else going on because she finished fast. Edit. Oh Reddit, please don't let this be my highest rated comment. She got plowed. Seeding the field. Not so much a request, but a girl, 19F, I was hooking up with, I was 22 at the time, started calling me daddy. It had never been a problem for me, but was never something I found particularly sexy or a turn on in any way. What was a problem was when, without warning, she started age play and started pretending she was a minor, like 13 years old, and I have never lost a boner so fast in my life. I hopped off and told her I really had to pee. Went into the bathroom and texted my buddy SOS, call me in 2 minutes, pretending to be my dad and be pissed at me. Yeah. To this day she is the only person I've ever ghosted. Sometimes I feel bad about it, but not usually. It also now creeps me out and is a huge turn off if someone calls me daddy. My wife knows this story and finds it hilarious, so she calls me daddy randomly just to get a laugh. Your wife's a keeper. She wanted me to basically force her. Started putting my hands down her pants and she stops me. So I stop because I think she's not ready for that, and she gets frustrated and asked why I stopped. Because I'm not into rape? Not gonna lie though, sex with her was fun once I got to know her better. What you needed was a safe word, so it was clear when she actually wanted you to stop. Safe word, meatloaf. Because you would do anything for love, but you won't do that. I can't fully even describe what she wanted me to do here. But let's just say that she was African American and had a different sort of master-slave fetish than I was comfortable with. Worst part was she was super loud about it too, and her kids/neighbors could definitely hear. Oh man, this happened to me also. One night stand arranged on a Yahoo chat. I just thought it was a booty call. But she wanted me to be Thomas Jefferson and make her have mixed race babies. It was a wild night. I love how this thread is about unreasonable requests, and so many of them were still fulfilled. A husband wanted me to have sex with this wife. That's not the outrageous part, I'm a swinger, so it's pretty common. What was outrageous was that he expected me to travel 3 hours to his town, pay all expenses for the hotel, wait for their arrival, and answer the door naked like some kind of toy to present to his wife. What kind of ribbon did you wear? Thing is, I'd have been fine with it if they met me halfway on the costs. I'd planned to ask her favorite color and wear a bow tie in that color. Where the hell you meeting these girls? Like, where specifically? My friend would like to know. She said there was a man clit or something in my ass she wanted to touch. I was less than mature about it and it literally led to a breakup. Something along the lines of "you fucked my ass and I can't even stick a finger in yours" was said. I defended myself at the time by claiming I was wholly comfortable in my heterosexuality. Turns out I found the man clit a few years later on my own and made a terrible mistake. It's literally amazing. The one that got away. A manager offered me $1,000 to give me a blowjob. So, what did you buy with the $1,000? An older man, 70s probably, with a wedding ring on walked up to my ex-boyfriend and I, 20F, 22M, having car sex on the middle of a hill in the middle of nowhere at 5 a.m., offering to pay $200 or something to join us in a threesome. Fuck no. Only because he was married though, right? If not, that's age discrimination. My ex wanted me to choke and rape her. I asked her to explain exactly what she meant and she said, "I want you to catch me off guard and try to fuck me, but when I say no, I want you to choke me into submission." One girl I met on Tinder was really into CNC, like really into it. We're just FWB and she is actually the kindest girl on the planet L. You'd never expect how kinky this girl is. Her parents are like super Catholic too, like to the point she's never seen Harry Potter because of the witchcraft. I met someone on my country's equivalent of Tinder. We had really good conversations and it seemed like it could actually be serious. I introduced her to my father and she introduced me to her family. We had normal sex once or twice by the time she requested me to do something. Requesting is not the right word to describe it, but I will try to paint a picture of what happened. She was sitting on top of me, we both just had underwear on. She invited me to touch her body, but as soon as I came near her breasts or crotch she would push my hands away but immediately put them on her belly again when I would keep them away from her for too long. I was absolutely confused to say the least. This cycle of paradoxical mixed signal shitfest went on for what felt like an eternity, but I managed to keep my composure. Eventually she got mad and just told me her plans. She wanted me to get sexually frustrated to the point where I would lose control and *PE her because that would get her going. I tried to understand that as much as I could and I tried to be more dominant, but in the end I was not able to go as far as she wanted me to go. I would probably have immediately ended the relationship if she and her family would not have otherwise been absolutely lovely people. She broke up with me because I could not fully satisfy her. Was dating a guy for like 2 months and he surprised me with a thoughtful trip to meet his parents over 3 hours away for Easter. I didn't feel comfortable, but he pressured me to go. He ended up pulling out a strap-on and asking me to peg him in his childhood bedroom when his parents are down the hall and his brother's room was connected to ours via bathroom. Once dated a guy that openly told me he was into fart porn. Not really my thing, but he asked me if I could do that whilst we were having sex. I said no. And then for a few weeks after he kept trying to sniff my butt during sex thinking I wouldn't notice. I was giving a guy head and he told me to bite his dick. I was like, "Are you sure?" And he said that the harder I bit his penis, the harder his penis would get, and I was highly intoxicated, so I chomped on that MFPP. Edit to add, when I left the next day, he still had a penis. But this was several years ago, so who knows? How many bites does it take to get the PP to fall off? The wording in the end makes it so much better. One woman asked me to use my Glock 19 as a sex toy. I tried compromising by saying I could use snap caps. Then there's no danger involved and it wouldn't be fun. Turns out, there's a fifth firearm safety rule. Cleaning that would be a bastard. I was 19 and my GF at the time is a sexual freak. Sex every day, multiple times, and I honestly could not keep up. One day she asked me if I would be open to a threesome with her best friend. She led me to believe it was her childhood friend and current roommate who we always hung out with. She was hot and I had a crush on her. Naturally, I said yes. I rushed to her apartment after a 12-hour shift. I'm in the military and was living in a base dorm at the time, which they did not have access to, the day of the threesome, and I walked in on her blowing this Idris Elba-looking dude. He was built like a Greek god and his dong is at least a good 4 inches bigger than mine. She said, "Come here babe, glad you could join us." He said, "What's up brother," extended his hand out and wanted me to bump fist. My self-confidence was shattered and I walked out. Never talked to her again after that. That's rough, buddy. Outrageous sexual request? Some random guy on Instagram messaged me to request that I come over, practice my punch and kick combos. I'm a Muay Thai instructor, on his balls, then wrestle him, then let him play with my feet. He was willing to pay $200. I'm a straight man. I declined. Weirdest I did? Tell me more about Chinese history. I went on a date with a girl whose family was from Hong Kong, but she grew up here in Canada. I took a number of classes on Chinese history at university and I had always been a fan of it, so we started talking about it on the date, or rather, I started talking and she seemed interested. But I didn't realize how interested until we were in bed later. We were having fun, but she was like, "I don't know if I'm going to get there tonight." Which is fine. A significant number of women struggle to orgasm first time with a new partner. And then we're in missionary, and I'm going, and she breathlessly goes, "Tell me more about Chinese history," and I go, "What?" and she goes, "Any of it, just talk about it." And so, I gave a lecture on the Taiping Rebellion while fucking her in missionary, and that got her there. For myself, I enjoyed giving the lecture, but not in a sexual way. To this day I say she is the only actual sapiosexual I've ever met. I was an escort for a few years, 2017 to 2021 to be exact. One client in particular whom I have saved in my phone as Sick Dick was one of my top priority clients. I would meet him whenever/wherever he wanted. If I had any prior engagements, they were cancelled. Why? Well, he never paid me the amount we agreed upon. In fact, he paid 2 times my actual rate the first time we met. With every meeting, not only did they pay go up, so did the amount of odd requests. Keep in mind this was your ordinary Caucasian man, who retired early, had a successful business, married with grown kids, one older than me, one younger, both attending out-of-state universities at the time. I won't go into details about the things he asked for because I don't like thinking about it, to be honest. I don't know if he's trying to hurt himself and those around him, or if he just likes the thrill or what, but it's crazy dangerous and you know. Anyway, one day I explained to him how unhappy I was in life, not having a family, struggling to have a stable job, home, or even a place to sleep at times, and that I needed to start somewhere new. So he told me the arrangements for our last meeting. He'd get a hotel that Friday and only be available from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and that the hotel was mine for the remainder of the time along with $1,000. Well, from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., he just wanted to live the gay life he never got to live. Some of the things I remember doing were underwear shop, brunch, watch RuPaul's Drag Race, went to a couple of gay bars, went cruising, ended up at a bathhouse, bought whatever drugs I could find us for $300, got a group thing going back at the hotel and had crazy off this FKN Planet fun. Before leaving, way past 6 p.m., he paid me $3,400 to put towards my new life and told me he had booked the room for the entire weekend so that I can have a comfortable place to sleep. That was by far the best time I ever had with a client. When it should be all about pleasing him and making him happy, he somehow made it about me. A little sick in the head at times, but still a great FKN guy. An ex-con who had just gotten out of prison was talking to me while I gave her a seat at a table at the restaurant I was working at the time. She had brought the whole getting out of prison that day on a whim, and she proceeded to ask me a couple of questions I won't forget after first complimenting my teeth out of nowhere. She asked me if I was single. I'm not. She asked me if I was into eating ass. She specified her butte hole. I'm not. And she asked when I got off. I said not for several hours. She then gave me a hotel number and location and said if I wanted to have a scary good time to hit her up. That interaction at the restaurant made me question a lot about people. Personally, I'm glad I didn't go for it. She didn't seem like she would have hurt me or anything, but I love my now fiancé too much to give that up for a fling. If you are here for the first time and you liked the video, like it. Subscribe to support me and hit the bell so you don't miss new videos. You can also watch other videos by going to the channel. I will be pleased if you like them.